is will be represented by the Council of Ministers and not a military council. Let us be clear. A government deal that will be approved by everybody, a deal for all the people of Sudan. The booth and any mandate will come from the people of Sudan themselves, not from the army, not from anybody else. We are ready to take to the streets in millions in order to affirm that. The people who are in charge have destroyed the country. They have wreaked havoc on our country, and now they are in Khartoum, they are in charge, and right now they are talking about conspiracies behind the scenes, conspiracies behind closed doors, but it is they who have destroyed our country.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome with us Mr. Abdul Wahab Al Afandi, Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities at Doha Institute. Mr. Al Hawazi Taqiyya is researcher at Al Jazeera Center for Studies, and Professor Shafiq Al Gharbra, political science professor at University of Kuwait. I would like also to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. We will spare a chunk of our time to open the floor for questions to our panelists and to leave also a room for our followers on social media. We will start our discussion giving 5 minutes for each one of our guests for every theme of the seminar. Mr. Abdul Wahid Al Afandi, the Sudanese are some of the most Arab peoples who have revolted against their rulers. So how would you assess the situation now in Sudan between the pulls and pushes between the military council and the change forces after foiling and attacking the demonstrations in front of the general headquarters? The Sudanese revolution and the change requirements are going through a critical phase. It's quite clear that it has started since some time. However, it has gained new momentum after attacking the demonstrators in front of the military headquarters with such a brutal way on the 28th of Ramadan. And such a scenario reminds us of the same approach adopted by 2013, and it seems as if the objective was meant to be a starting point to quench the revolution, and there are many forces region. From the other hand, such an approach is based on institution once of and created that time, therefore respected relations to live and establish democracy in which we believe. Unfortunately, some of the followers of the hardliners, political hardliners, believe that elections is a choice rather than a requirement, and this is to conduct fair election.
In Algeria, the protesters are still insisting to bring down all the symbols of the former regime before conducting any elections. The army, however, insists on holding the elections in order to avoid constitutional. To answer your question of former prime ministers have actually been put on trial, and they have actually been put in prison, and the same thing applies to a number of senior the people by conducting all these trials. The military council possibly thinks that this will appease the people who are protesting are supposed to go. Therefore, I think that to remain
this would evolve into either me or we divide the country. It's either me or destruction to all. The conflict in Syria can be read under this concept, under this context. is that Al-Assad has militarized the revolution in Syria and has divided the country. Has he succeeded? No. Has the revolution succeeded? No. Everyone lost. However, the issues raised by the Syrian revolution in 2011 are remain the same issues. They will bounce again in a bigger form in many other ways, and the regime will not consider that he has protected Syria. He should have reconciliated with his peoples rather than depending on the Russians or the Americans or Iran or many other actors. The search for a solution with the peoples and representatives of these people, allowing purposes to be shift to patience for it is imperative
time with revenge, with killing, with and a revolution and Libya. For instance, we saw the same thing roughly 3 years that were made. 3 leaders of the to resolve conflicts. We've had a major
transition. The condition, youth, etc., and it can galvanize large segments of the peoples. And the study has proven that the more participation, the less desire on the to file. There were and this actually this doesn't consider Muslim Brotherhood. They don't rule suckers and still ongoing. However, the Arab region is a bit distant from Israel, therefore it's quite different. There are other issues. I would like to ask my question about Algeria. What are the reasons that led to a failure to form a unified leadership that can provide
from the Sudanese revolution? Al-Bashir, just a general observation here, there was no female presence on the panel. We have renewed as short as possible in your answers, so everybody wins. Do you think that's possible? Wider Middle East.